to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. As you guys saw in the title of the video, this is not the regular true crime video, but you guys know that if you followed me on my old channel, I would do reactions on certain topics, especially trending topics in South Africa. And you guys, I went, last week actually, I think last week Thursday. So my mother made, sometime last week, you guys, I think it was last week Thursday, my mom gave, or Friday, no, last week Thursday for sure, my mom gives me a call and she asked me, did I see the news, did I heard of this girl that was brutally murdered by her boyfriend? And at the time I was a bit shocked. I was like, no, I didn't see anything of that sort. And she's like, and then she actually told me what happens. Because if you guys don't know, I am from East London, but I'm based in Johannesburg. So when she told me the news, I was so shocked, you guys. But she just told me that no, she was murdered and stuff like that. Then she went in and told me the details of how this girl was brutally murdered. I could not believe it. Obviously, after speaking to my mom, I then went online, because I know, especially on Facebook, because that's where I'm mostly connected with the people from the Eastern Cape and people from home more. So I went on Facebook and I saw all these messages, like, people talking about it, and there was even pictures, but at the time I had not seen the pictures. So this girl, you guys, it is said that she was dating, she is a law student at the University of Fort Hare in East London. There was a few articles that said from Walter Sisulu University, but then I saw more articles saying that she was studying law at the University of Fort Hare in East London. So when I saw that, and then they said that, okay, she was studying law, she was dating this guy, but they didn't really explain or describe the nature of their relationship. They just said that she cheated on him or something like that. I'm not quite sure. Please fact check me down below if you know the story correctly. But it doesn't really matter what she had done, right? It doesn't really matter looking at it now. It doesn't matter what she had done for him to have brutally murdered her the way he did. So it is said that that was their relationship, and people would explain that no, people heard noises, people heard, like the neighbors from her flat heard noises of her saying stop, stop, help, help, that sort of thing. So people just thought that, oh, maybe it's just another domestic issue where a couple is fighting or that sort of thing. And we all know that that is always the case, you guys. We always have issues, where neighbors are fighting, where you may be like for instance, we were driving the other day, we were on our way to Bloemfontein on a long distance road, and we saw another lady literally running, getting out of the car, and she ran, and the guy was chasing her. So if you're driving and you're like, how do you get involved in a situation like that? Like, what do you do? Most of us, we sometimes think that, okay, it's a couple issue, we mustn't get involved, and it could even be their normal routine, they probably like that, So not other people, in this situation, the same thing happened. The same thing happened where the neighbors thought that it was just another squabble, couples fighting or something like that. And you guys, they would explain that yes, there was commotion, but right after the commotion there was silence. There was silence for a very, very long time. And I don't know if it's the next morning, early in the morning, but in this article they say that the next early morning hours, they saw this guy, the boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, the perpetrator, they saw him carrying a suitcase, a traveling bag, carrying the traveling bag with plastic bags, and he just went to drop it off in front of another block of flats. I'm from East London, and the area where he just dropped her off is called Quigney or Southernhood. Not quite sure, but it's quite in the same, it's practically next to each other. So it is said that he went and he dropped off her body, or he dropped off these bags and plastic bags in front of another building, another block of flats. So in this neighborhood, you guys, it's quite, there's a lot of students, there's a lot of communes, there's a lot of, it's not going to say that it's quite busy, but it's not an area where it's just dead quiet. There's always up and down. I mean, it's close to the beach, there's always traffic there. And when he went to drop these bags down, obviously people saw, and the curious people, not really curious people, but probably the homeless people or someone just went there to see, like, what's in this bag. Maybe someone just forgot it here. When they opened the bag, they found this precious girl's butchered body. Now, there were photos. I saw a photo of this on Twitter, but very briefly. I don't want to get into it, guys. It's quite graphic, and if you're sensitive to this type of information, please just maybe fast forward the video by a few seconds. So they dismembered her body. There was no head in the suitcase, there was no legs in the suitcase, I'm not quite sure, but there was also no hands in the suitcase, as far as the pictures. So in the pictures, or whatever, you guys, in the suitcase, you just see her body from her shoulders up to her hips. That's the only thing you see. In the plastic bags maybe are the legs or feet or whatever it is. So guys, they immediately then called the police, and they were like, we saw this guy coming from that block of flats, and he came to drop these bags. It didn't take them quite a while, it didn't take them very long, which was good, actually, thank God, because, you know, these type of cases, people get away with it quite easily, and I'm going to get into that quite a bit. So when this guy called the police, or whoever it was, the people that saw called the police, when they called the police, they showed them the person that was dropping this stuff, or these bags, or this, live in that block of flats. The police obviously then went, and, you know, and they caught the guy. When they went into his bedroom or into his dorm or whatever it is, and that's where they found her head and her hands. And when they asked him, who is this person, why did you do this, and then he said no, it's his girlfriend. They didn't really say much what went into that incident, but obviously he got arrested right there and then. And you know, when I saw this, I was like, you must be joking. I saw the pictures of this guy, and it's your typical guy. It's like your normal guy next door. There's nothing alarming about him. There's nothing that screams murderer. There's nothing that screams evil human being. Absolutely nothing. You know, I was so shocked. I was like, really? This loser of a guy, you know? Because when you look at his pictures, when you look at the person, you would maybe think, no, like there has to be this giant big evil person written all over his face that is capable of something like this, but really not. He's just a regular dude, and he did this to this poor girl. Someone lost their daughter, someone lost a niece, someone lost, you guys, like, I cannot even put this to words how gruesome this is, and how women in South Africa is dying daily. Like, and funny enough, not even funny enough, you guys, like, can I tell you, this year 2021, there was another lady in the beginning of the year, I think it was at the time, I think it was in April, where she was literally coming from Cape Town. She was coming from Cape Town, and she was on a work function. She came back from the work function from Cape Town, but she was communicating with the people at home. I don't know if it was the husband or the mother. She was communicating with her folks at home saying that, okay, we're done now, we're boarding the plane, I'm going to be landing in Johannesburg in the next 15 minutes. Landed in Johannesburg, texted her mother or her husband or whoever at the time, texted saying that, okay, we've just landed. Texting again saying that, okay, I'm waiting for a cab. The last text from this lady was, I just got into a cab, I'll see you in the next 10 minutes. And she never got home, you guys. And in this, what's crazy is the fact that people were looking for her, family members were looking for her, and I think a few days later, they found a dismembered body. They found her body also butchered brutally and thrown into the Vaal River. Now, the Vaal and OR Tambo Airport is it's quite a distance from each other. The Vaal is at the outskirts of Gauteng, so it was quite a drive. So he took her all the way out of Gauteng and did that to her body. And there was a few days later where a BNB called the police station and said, and showed them pictures of what their room was looking like. And they went into this room and they shared pictures of just blood everywhere, on the bed, on the floor, in the bathroom, every single way. So it is suspected that this lady's body that came from the airport, I think her name is Yolandi Boetes, I think her body could have been butchered in that guest room or B&B and was taken then from there to be just thrown into the Vaal River like a... I don't even want to say it, you guys. I don't even want to say it. And this person got away with it. This person got away with it. This person was never found again. I mean, if you look at it, if you have a hotel room with blood everywhere, surely there must be some type of evidence. There must be something. You know, I don't know how the police system in South Africa works. I don't know how equipped they are to solve cases like this, but clearly they're not equipped. Like, how can a case that can be literally a slam dunk and can also be found quite easy in a case like this actually just vanish in thin air? How can this guy get away with it? Whoever did this to this Yolandi lady, how can this guy just get away with it? I mean, there's a room, there's pictures. He checked in at a B&B at a guest house. How he paid, or maybe he just paid cash, maybe, you know, there's no physical trace of him being anywhere. But the thought of it alone, the fact that he can get away with it, is the part that scares me the most. And I know I saw recently that Yolandi Boetes' family, they have a reward out for anybody who knows information on what had happened to her. I mean, she was married, you guys. She had a baby boy, I think. I think she had a baby. She had a mother, she had friends, she had family. And she was just killed in such a gruesome way, and nobody knows anything. And there's nothing nobody can do about it. Like, are you kidding me? The same with the lady that was also murdered in East London. How? I'm just hoping and praying that this guy, because you know the justice system in East London can work in a way that can frustrate the most of us. Because let me tell you, and God forbid this is what's going to happen. So this guy who murdered this student, he can go in and just plead guilty and just cooperate with everyone and just make this thing as simple as possible. And for his cooperation, he can get a shorter sentence. He can get even up to just 15 years for what he had done. And that kind of person should not even ever be seen walking the streets. Ever. Like, he should get life without the possibility of parole. He should just be in jail. But I don't know, you guys. The justice system doesn't necessarily work like that. But I'm hoping it does actually bring justice to this person, because he doesn't even deserve to live. That's how evil he is. That's how he cannot be a normal person. He cannot be a normal person to have done that and just act normal and just think that, okay, I'm just going to serve my time, I'll be out in 20 years, and yeah, show goes on, probably do it again, you know. So at this point, I just hope justice will be served. I don't think there's anything that will ever make this case better. Whether he gets life without the possibility of parole, it still won't make it better of how he brutally murdered this girl. There is just no way. There's no way, you guys. And this is, I saw comments of her friends that posted pictures of her. You know, she had a bright future ahead of her, and this guy just took it away. Because of what? You know? So it's just stuff like that, you guys, that makes me that upsets me, that infuriates me, that makes me feel like I could be next. Like, just by going to the shopping mall, I could be next. Just by ordering a cab, and I could be ending up in a B&B or guest house, being dismembered, getting my head and feet thrown in the Vaal River, and no one will ever find the perpetrator. My kids would be crying, my mother would be crying, my husband would be crying, and no one will, there's nothing that no one will or can do about it. Like, just the thought of it scares me the most. And I just want to say to young girls or just women in South Africa, we are on our own. We are on our own. It doesn't matter. You can have your husband, you can have your family members. I mean, there's nothing the president is doing, there's nothing the police is doing. And I know that our loved ones always try to protect us. They try to make sure that, you know, you can be however cautious. But when you meet up with the devil and these evil men, and it's time for you to go on their watch, then it's time for you to go on their watch. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. They overpower you, and this is what they do to you. I don't know how to advise or how to even, I don't even know how to put it in words, to even explain to us women in South Africa what to do to be safer. I mean, we've seen videos, we've seen so many things, we've read so many things, you know, how not to be in areas where you're not supposed to be, how to be safe certain times, do that, always be in a group. But I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what you do, because here is a young girl, a young student that had a bright future ahead of her, and she was brutally murdered by her boyfriend. How do you move on from that? How do you move on from that? Should we lock ourselves in our homes? Should we be prisoners in our own homes, in our own country? It is such a sad reality, you guys. Like, femicide is a real thing in South Africa. It happens every year. I mean, just last year, you guys, how many women died this time last year? So many, let alone the others that were not even mentioned. Imagine, just imagine, it could be you next. Oh my God, it could be me next. It could be your daughter next. It could be your niece, your sister. I don't know how to, I don't even know. It literally gives me a pit in my stomach just thinking about it. And it's our reality, guys. It's our reality. I can't tell you what we can do to change things. I just don't know. I just don't know. I mean, how many times have we reached out to the president? How many times have we wrote open letters? How many times have we tagged people? How much more is there to do? How much more? And that's what scares me. That's literally what scares me, is the fact that I'm not at a point where I'm like hopeless, you know, because there's just so much that we can fight for. But if we don't have the support, if we don't have people backing us up 100%, if we're going to fight this thing by ourselves, clearly it's not enough. Clearly it's not enough. And I don't want to be the person that's going to be negative, or that's going to, you know, I don't want that. I'm hopeful. I am hopeful. I mean, this is change that needs to happen, and fast, like ASAP, like as soon as yesterday. But look where we're at. Like, I don't know. I just don't know. So yeah, you guys, like, that's it from me. I just want to send my condolences to these families. I cannot even imagine what you guys are going through. Like, I cannot even imagine what you guys are going through. I could never ever imagine what you guys are going through, and I'm just so sorry for that, for both ladies. It's not fair. It is not fair. You were not brought into this world to be brutally murdered by... I'm just gonna end the video here. To every woman in South Africa, I'm praying for you. And like, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. But just please be safe. Please be safe. Trust absolutely no one. Absolutely no one. Trust your gut feeling. Trust your instinct in every situation, even if you feel like you're overthinking or overreacting. If something doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.